And our coverage is continuing tonight, Randy. Our Max Marcilla is live at Reagan National. Max, you spoke with a 35-year veteran pilot about what may have went wrong in the sky last night. Tell us more about what he said.
Well, this pilot we just got off the phone with walked through sort of some of the challenges of flying in and out of this airport, as well as what could have happened, though he did say he doesn't want to speculate, nor should anyone, considering it is still the very early stages of that investigation, as Marielle noted, and there are still way more questions than answers as to what happened. But what we can tell you is some of the information that this 35-year commercial pilot was able to gather from the air traffic control, some of the audio that we have been able to hear, that the public has been able to hear, and that we've been talking about since this plane crash a little less than 20 hours ago at this point. Now, some of the things that this pilot told us was that leading up to the moment of the crash, the plane and the helicopter were both told that they are essentially responsible for avoiding each other. One was told, look out for the plane here. The other was told, look out for the helicopter here. The last transmission that this pilot told us went out was for the helicopter to pass behind this commercial plane. Now, why that didn't happen is still what we don't know and what the investigation hopes to find. And this pilot told us some of the questions that the investigation could at least attempt to answer.
The question you have to ask yourself is why? Why didn't they pass behind the CRJ? Did they not have it in sight? Did they see another airplane that they believed was the airplane they were supposed to pass behind? Were they using night vision goggles, which I've never used a pair, but I imagine that they don't have really good peripheral vision?
So those are, again, some of the questions that could be answered or at least asked over the course of this very early stages investigation. Now, guys, there's also something else that the pilot told us, which is that ultimately with an incident like this, there is the high potential that human error was involved. This pilot said, look, there have been plenty of systems and procedures and processes that have been set in place for years that have worked very, very well, both in communication and in technology, and that sometimes it can just come down to a human error. He said not to cast any blame, but just to acknowledge some of the difficulties of this job, especially in a situation like the pilot found themselves in last night.
And Max, before we let you go, about those difficulties, we know that DC has restricted airspace. That is somewhat of a challenge for pilots when they come in and out of Reagan National. What more is that pilot telling you about additional challenges coming in and out?
Well, look, this pilot said that over the course of his, again, 3+ decade-long career, he's flown in and out of DCA. He estimated more than 300 times. He doesn't keep track. It's a very regular flight pattern for him. And he says there are some challenges. There are short runways here at Reagan National Airport, though he did say they have been managed, professionally and successfully over the years. He did also talk about the fact that there are these military helicopters that fly very, very often. He said it is very common, not at all unusual, for low-flying military helicopters when planes are taking off or landing from these runways here at Reagan National Airport. Again, he said these are things that pilots are trained for, prepared for, and understand. Not only pilots, but also people in the air traffic control towers. Just ultimately, what ended up happening, we still don't know, and we will learn over the course of this investigation, as Marielle outlined. But ultimately, this pilot said it's just a tragedy, and one of those things that is really tough for the aviation industry to see when something goes wrong, whatever it was, and resulted in this.
Investigations will ultimately be done. Max Marcella live at Reagan National. Thanks, Max.